Welcome in Dynasty fam. Going to be talking about 10 interesting stats and takeaways from NFL Week 2. So hopefully this can help you heading into Week 3. Crazy week of fantasy, guys. Had some tough injuries. Hopefully, right, we'll have some prayers out to Nick Chubb, right? Also, we lost J.K. Dobbins. So hopefully they come back. Hopefully it's not the last we see of either of those players. But let's get into it, guys. Going to be talking about at number 10, going to be talking about the Ravens backfield. A lot of speculation right this week on the waiver wire. Who is the player to own right now? They activate Melvin Gordon also from the practice squad. But right now, I'm thinking it's going to be Justice Hill. And a couple of things, guys, right now. He out carries Gus Edwards slightly, right? Just by one, right? 11 to 10. But what I do like, guys, is that he runs twice as many routes. He runs 23 routes to Gus Edwards' 11. Also gets a majority of the snaps in the 2-minute drill and also gets most of the work in the red zone. He gets 3 out of the 4 carries inside the 5. The touchdown goes to Gus Edwards this game, but I still like that he got 3 carries inside the 5. So if I'm putting in my waiver guys in today, I'm probably going to be putting more money down on Justice Hill to lead that backfield going forward and get some of that good opportunity that we like, right? With those receptions, the receiving opportunity, and then he's still getting some goal line work. Definitely like it. So I'm going to go with Justice Hill leading that Ravens backfield based on what we saw this week. Okay. Now moving on to number 9, guys, we got Mr. Sky Moore. Now, he was one of my buy low candidates, guys, just because I feel like he hadn't gotten that much opportunity yet. But looking at it, guys, coming off, if you bought him, I mean, if you drafted him in rookie drafts, he was like a round 2 pick. But right now, guys, if you traded for him, you probably could have got him for like a 4th round pick, maybe a 3rd round pick. But right now, if you can cash out, guys, I would be willing to cash out already. I know he had one game. There's a lot of people that are liking what they saw already, saying that he had the mini breakout, right, with the touchdown and all that. But he has a slight decrease in snap share from week 1 to week 2, 69 to 50, down to 58. All this stats too, guys, also is from PFF. So 69 to 58%. Most of it is from PFF. There's also some from Fantasy Pros, different things like that. So only earns 4 targets, guys, 3 receptions, 70 in those 3 receptions. I mean, he's efficient, 70 yards for 1 touchdown. But right now, guys, I would be willing to sell if I could. If I could get a second, right? If you bought low on him, I would be trying to get maybe even Sky Moore in a 3rd, trade off Sky Moore in a 3rd or 4th, try to get a second back. Someone that maybe needs a receiver. If you drafted him in the 2nd, I don't mind breaking even and just getting my second back, guys. But I'm definitely going to try to be moving him. Right now, Watson and Tony both earned more targets than him while running less routes. And it was only one more target. Watson and Tony both got 5 targets, but Tony ran half the route, less than half the routes. Tony ran, I think, 15. Sky Moore, 33 routes run. And in that, you had that big 50 plus yard play for Sky Moore. So right now, guys, if he's not getting that target share, the target volume that he needs to be getting to hit there, it's going to be really big play dependent. And even in that, we just haven't seen that much from Sky Moore right now. So I'm going to be looking to move on from my Sky Moore shares if people are buying after this week's performance. So now heading into number 8, guys, we got Breece Hall. Man, and this was a shocker, guys. Breece Hall came out week 1. He looked amazing. He had, I think it was like 100 plus yards in his first 10 carry, in his first like 4 carries, not 10. I think he only got 10 carries in the game. But like in his first 4 carries, he had 100 plus yards. I was thinking, man, Breece, he looked awesome, guys. And then game 2, they come out. I don't know what in the world happened, guys, but he only gets 4 carries. The only thing I could think, guys, is if he was just having some trouble or maybe had some knee pain or some swelling or something, or they just want to flat out lose, guys. But I don't know. But he gets 4 carries only 2 targets. He ran 8 routes, guys. So Dalvin Cook actually led them in snaps. He had 17 snaps. Breece Hall logged 15, and he actually split 15 and 15. Michael Carter also ran 15. But what was crazy, guys, is Michael Carter ran more routes than him. right? Michael Carter ran 13 routes. He got all 10 snaps in the 2-minute drill. That was Michael Carter, not Breece Hall. So definitely concerning, guys, for Breece Hall owners. I mean, I'd still be buying, right, in Dynasty, but in redraft, it's a little bit concerning, the usage that they gave him this game. It was just kind of weird, man, to see from week 1 to week 2 how he looked so great, and then they just pretty much, he didn't even get one fantasy point. God, I put, he was the RB60, right? So I have he was the RB60, and it was 0.90 fantasy point. I didn't put fantasy points. He got 0.90 fantasy point. So it's just a little bit concerning right now for Breece Hall. And let's go into our number 7, guys, and it is Mr. Kyren Williams. Man, monster week, guys, by Kyren Williams. Man, it's just back-to-back top 10 finishes, guys, for Kyren Williams. God, he was the RB9 in week 1, then he's the RB2 this past week, only to Brian Robinson, and it was only like 0.8 behind Brian Robinson. They basically both had 28 fantasy points, but he logs a 95% snap share, guys. So he had every carry out of the backfield for the Rams with 14, and he got 10 of the 11 targets. So the only opportunity that was not his was one target that went to Ronnie Rivers. So he's basically the workhorse in this week 2. And he goes back to back, like I said, top 10 finishes. He leads all RBs right now in targets. He's actually tied with Jaylen Warren. They both have 12 targets each. But most of that was in week 2 for Kyren, guys. He had, I think, 10 targets in week 2. So a little bit deceiving, but still great to see if you picked up Kyren Williams off the waivers. And right now, guys, the only thing that I'm a little bit hesitant with Kyren, guys, is that he is a smaller guy. He's only 5'9", under 200 pounds. So I'm not sure if they're going to continue giving him this workload. I know a lot of this was kind of Akers, the stuff with Akers and kind of him being in the doghouse and stuff with McVay, and they're putting him on the trade block, pretty much make him inactive right before, a couple hours before the game. So a little bit wild, guys. I do not see this continuing, guys. And if I could move on from Kyren Williams, I think he's going to be, I just don't see him being the lead back, guys, for the Rams for the whole season. We'll see, but I just think with the size that they're going to have to bring in somebody. I think maybe they bring in Zach Evans, right? He was inactive. Maybe they can bring in Zach Evans, a little bit bigger guy to handle some of that workload. But right now, I'd be looking to sell Kyren Williams, guys, in Dynasty and redraft. I guess if you want to write it out another game or two and see what happens. But I'd be fine moving on and cashing out on Kyren Williams right now. So moving into number 6, guys, I got Tank Dell, and this was really good. This was awesome to see, guys. Tank Dell, he went from week 1 to week 2. He went from 25 routes run to 54 routes. From 25 routes in week 1 up to 45 routes. So almost doubles his routes run in week 2. He ran more routes than Nico Collins. That's pretty much the interesting stat here. He ran 45 routes to Nico Collins 40. He earned 10 targets, goes 7 for 72 and a touchdown. He's the wide receiver 17. That was some crazy scores, man, for wide receivers this week. But he's the wide receiver 17 with 20 fantasy points. And right now, guys, we had the Noah Brown injury. And right now, Tank Dell is clearly the number 1 beneficiary. I think Tank Dell was high on my priority right now on the waiver wire list, guys, and definitely somebody that is skyrocketing right now in Dynasty. I think he's got good opportunity coming up. Right now, CJ Stroud looks good. He looks good. They're letting him throw the ball. He's firing that ball, 40-plus attempts this last game, close to 400 yards. So Tank Dell, Nico Collins definitely have some upside coming up in these next few weeks. So going into our number 5, guys, we have Devontae Parker, just comes back off an injury. And what I like about this guy is Devontae Parker. He's still not that much owned, right, in redraft leagues, but Devontae Parker, 96% route participation. It was 45 out of 47 routes run for Devontae Parker. So they're treating him like he's the wide receiver 1 there. He ran more routes than Kendrick Bourne, Juju, right? He gets 8 targets. He has 6 receptions for 57 yards. So one thing that is interesting, though, even though Bourne ran, I think it was maybe like five routes less or so, not too much less, but it still ran less routes. But Bourne out targets him, right, while running less routes. But he is less efficient. Bourne was only 4 for 29. So something to monitor going forward, this wide receiver 1 battle for the New England Patriots. If I was going to put my money on anybody, I guess it'd be Parker right now, guys, just because the opportunity that he's getting as he's being out there on the field. But Bourne has looked good for sure as well in these first 2 weeks. One thing we know for sure, guys, is that it is not Juju. So now moving into number 4, guys, Brian Robinson, monster week. He's the RB1 of the week. And what's interesting, guys, he has 18 carries to Gibson's 2. Antonio Gibson only has 2 carries in week 2, and he's still running a lot of routes. I mean, we wanted Gibson to be that guy running, getting majority of the routes, but man, right now Brian Robinson is eating a lot into that too. He runs 17 routes to Gibson's 25, so gets 18 carries. Just a lot of opportunity for Brian Robinson right now. Gets the goal line work. He goes 18 for 87 on the ground, gets 2 receptions for 42 yards. Definitely good, 40 yards off of 2 receptions. Then he gets 2 rushing TDs. So right now he's the RB1. He's the RB1 overall in week 2 with a massive 28.9 fantasy points. So big week for Brian Robinson, looking like he is the main dog for sure in that backfield. I actually got rid of Brian Robinson, guys. I traded Brian Robinson in a third for a second-round pick before the season because I had Antonio Gibson. I thought it was going to be Antonio Gibson. Definitely looking like a miss right now. So going into number 3, guys, we have Zach Moss. He logged all but 1 offensive snap. Zach Moss is everything that we wanted Jonathan Taylor to be, guys, in this NFL week 2. They don't give Taylor all the workload, right? Zach Moss comes in, they give this dude all the keys to everything. I know Deion Jackson was horrible in week 1. They have Evan Hall that got injured. So pretty much nobody there in the backfield. And he logs every snap but 1. And really on that snap, there was not even another RB out there. It was just an empty backfield. He gets all the third down work, all the 2-minute drill, all the passing downs. He runs 33 routes. So he goes 18 for 88, 1 TD on the ground, then 4 receptions for 19 yards. So Zach Moss, guys, if he is not on your roster, definitely a high priority on the waiver wire. And someone interesting in Dynasty too, man. We'll see what the Colts do going forward. They all probably won't have Anthony Richardson this week. They're probably going to have some Minshew mania. So we'll see how it goes. But Zach Moss with a monster game in week 2 of the NFL. So going in, we have 2 more left, guys. If you guys are liking what you're hearing, be sure, guys, to like and subscribe and check out some of our other videos. Now, heading into number 2, we got Marvin Mims Jr., guys. And this was insane, guys. He goes 6 routes. He ran 6 routes. He gets 2 targets, right? 2 receptions for 100. I think he got 3 targets, guys, actually, but it's 2 receptions for 113 yards. That's just crazy. 2 receptions, goes 113 yards and a TD. Wide receiver 16 on the week. No, I think that is right. Out of the 6 routes run, he gets 2 targets and 2 receptions. In that, he gets 113 yards and 1 TD. He's the wide receiver 16 on the week. So we know, guys, coming in, this guy in college, guys, in 2021 and 2022, I think he led in the yards per reception. It was 20 plus yards per reception in both those last 2 years that he had in college. So we know that he's got definitely big play upside. And with Russ, man, it worked this game. 6 routes. In those 6 routes, highly efficient monster plays. I think they got to get this guy more playing time. So definitely like Marvin Mims going forward, definitely a lot of room to grow for him in the next coming weeks. So number 1, guys, has to be Mr. Puka Nacua. Sets multiple NFL records, guys, in this week. And these stats were from NFL.com. It was an article by Kevin Patra. But he pretty much broke this down, guys, that he has the NFL rookie record for 15 receptions, right? It was rookie record for most receptions in a game. It was 15 receptions. He went 15 in week 2 for 147 on 20 targets, guys. Craziness. Then he gets 25 catches, guys, also in his first 2 games. So that's the most ever by a rookie. OBJ was the next guys who had the record before him. He held the record with 23 receptions. But what's cool about this, guys, is that OBJ, when he did it, it was already in December, right? Puka did it in his first 2 games, man, as a rookie. So it's crazy. There's a lot of people that I know after week 1 that were selling Puka for like seconds, and I understand because you probably got him in round 5 or maybe off your waiver wire, and you're thinking about, hey, you know what, you're making that value, you're making that profit anyways. But I think there's still some room to grow. I think you might be selling off a league winner, guys, or selling off someone that could definitely earn a first. I think I'm not selling Puka, guys, unless I'm getting a first round pick. And even at that, I don't even want it to be a late first, guys. I know that sounds crazy, but I think that there's just a lot of things that could go right for Puka. He looks just great his first 2 games. And then even if you're talking about Cooper Kupp coming back, I think there's still opportunity for him in that offense. I think he's the clear wide receiver 2 with Cooper Kupp back. And then you're thinking, guys, Cooper Kupp's old. He's getting up there in age, guys. I mean, I don't know how long Cooper Kupp's going to be around, but this year is definitely off to a bad start for Cooper Kupp. So I don't mind if someone's going to give me Puka for a second, guys, I will take him for a second, right? I don't think you're going to get that anymore with this monster week 2 performance that he follows it up with. We'll see how it goes, guys. But right now, also, he's only one of 5 players since the Super Bowl era with 10 plus receptions and 100 plus yards in his first 2 games. He's actually the only rookie to ever do this. And what's cool, guys, about this stat is one of the other 5 players was actually Cooper Kupp in 2022. So Puka Nacua, guys, off to a fire hot start. And I'm not sure, guys, if you sell him, if you're a contender, guys, you're selling off a league winner. And even if you're a pretender, you might be selling off a valuable asset for the near future, the very near future, right? The years to come. So I don't know, guys. You guys let me know in the comments what you think, what you're doing if you have Puka Nacua. But that's all I have for you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure, like I said, to check out some of our other videos, and we'll see you next time.